fucking quit. Fuck them. I hate that fucking company and everything they fucking stand for. All they did was ever hold our fucking people back. I do this shit for the culture. I don't need anyone's fucking permission to do what I want to do. Screw Jordan Miles. Don't ever call me by that slave name. Call me ACH and don't forget the super bitch. I quit. Fuck you.
And welcome to another edition of Tiger Driver Radio for all things New Japan Pro Wrestling and wrestling news. Woo! Boy! Woo! Do we have a lot to get into, and man, it has been a very, very exciting 24 hours in the wrestling world on so many fronts. Man. I'm telling you one thing, man. One thing about the holiday season. The holiday season brings out a lot of shit, a lot of craziness, a lot of truth. Yeah, a lot of real people's feelings. Now, for those of you that are not aware, we here at Tiger Driver Radio, we tend to try to stay away from the politics of the real world and a lot of divisive, topics. We try to keep the show fun. But one thing that we have talked about off the air, off this show between me and Jerry, and this might offend some people. I don't know. By all means, please chime in. Anybody that's listening out there, in the Tiger Driver army right now is we have constantly kind of been critical, both me and Jerry, in different ways, about how WWE has, in our opinions, has done a disservice to not just a lot of wrestlers that are talented, but is also maybe, whether it's intentional or non-intentional, to target and to kind of limit certain wrestlers of color, whether they're Black, Latino, or Asian. You and I both talked about how, for some reason, like, certain wrestlers get over, but the moment that they're in a certain position, they kind of get knocked down, and it seems to happen a lot to certain wrestlers of certain ethnicities more than others. And I think you even agreed to that. Yeah, I agreed to that in mention of like Hispanics in WWE. I don't think they get as much of the opportunity as anyone else. No, absolutely not. And then just right now we just included that small diatribe from ACH, aka formerly known as Jordan Miles, who was a wrestler in NXT, who was a big star over in New Japan Pro Wrestling, as well as in the independent scene, and had a great time in a Ring of Honor. For those of you that are not aware, he had there was a bit of a controversy going on with his T-shirt design, saying that it was a racist T-shirt design, kind of deriving from a lot of minstrel show culture of the 1920s and 30s, based on the lettering and the fact that the way that the shirt was set up looked like it was kind of like showing blackface with red lips, which is very common for that kind of caricature of the time, which was, by all means, it's a fucking racist caricature. Like, there's no denying it. Some people, however, say that he's kind of reaching. And that it's not, WWE being outright racist. He did approve of the T-shirt design. There's this whole back and forth about this topic. And it couldn't be one of those situations where, like clouds, people did see a cloud of a different shape. Maybe that's why they thought he was reaching out. He was kind of reaching too far. Yeah. I see his point. I don't know if I would go about it the same way that he did, but I'm also not going to sit there and say that he's wrong either, because honestly, when you're somebody who is of a certain ethnicity or religion or sexual orientation and you're discriminated against, I will never tell anybody to tell them how to feel and how to react, because it's upsetting. And if he felt upset, irregardless of whether he agreed to this design or he felt that he was pressured into it or it just wasn't the most ideal situation, I personally would never tell anybody how to feel and how to react, because you can't tell somebody how to react. I mean, that's how they feel. If that's how they feel, that's how they feel. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Now, the thing is, it does look like it though. Yeah, the shirt, like as soon as you see it, it does. You can see that resemblance of why he was so upset. Yeah, you can definitely see it. Absolutely, you can definitely see the resemblance of it being like a minstrel smile with the red lips and the big teeth. And then, of course, like the Jordan Miles logo on the back, it's very indicative of like old entertainment from 1920s and 1930s, where they would kind of poke fun at like at black culture.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's a very controversial topic. ACH apparently on his own accord. I don't know if I'm sure there's going to be some sort of legalities going on, but he is officially, according to him, quit the WWE.
He's done.
He's done. What that means for his wrestling future, who knows? I can tell you this right now. More than likely, he will not be returning to the WWE. But then again, stranger things have happened.
Yeah. Sin Cara wants to leave too.
Sin Cara wants to leave too. He felt that he is not a valuable asset to this company. He has not been treated well.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, something you and I have never thought was going to happen in the past couple of years. And then bam, suddenly CM Punk returns to WWE programming. Mind you, it's through Fox. Fox News hired him. WWE blessed it off. He is not on WWE's bankroll. He is apparently getting paid by Fox, by Fox. And that's something that we thought would never happen.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think CM Punk returning, I think he just wants to stick with that though. He wants to stick just with maybe doing commentary, or
he doesn't really want to get in the ring.
Yeah, because I mean he has been so many years, and I mean he even came out. I don't know if you have Netflix, but he even came out in that Ultimate Beastmaster show.
Yeah, he came out on the Beastmaster
and
show.
With which Wade Barrett was on there too. Like it seems like that's his goal is to just do that. I mean, he just did MMA, but I think it was just more of a ploy to get more eyes on him, more back on him, so he could continue his career as, again, either doing commentary or maybe his own show or something like that. I don't think wrestling is in his future, I think. In my opinion. I know a lot of people say, I mean, this is just the start of him going back to getting in the ring.
I don't know, but you know what? For the longest time, we always thought to ourselves that, perhaps he would never go back. And then look in the behold, even though Fox is signing his checks, the fact is he's back on a WWE associated program.
Yeah,
no one would ever thought that was going to happen ever. Yeah. Just like back in the 90s, no one ever thought that you would see Bret Hart work with the WWE in any sort of capacity.
Yeah,
you never thought that was going to happen.
Yeah,
and it did.
Yeah,
first with his Hall of Fame in the early 2000s, and then later on when he had his apology with Shawn Michaels. But nonetheless, it's a lot of controversy in the past 24 hours, and we can even talk about it again a little bit more later. But of course, we just here at Tiger Driver Radio, this might be divisive, and if it is, so be it. I personally, and I think you as well, can sit there and safely say that we both support ACH in whatever decision he makes.
Yeah. I mean, we met him before here in local shows, and he's a good guy. So whatever, there's a perfect reason why he's feeling like this right now.
Yeah.
So.
Irregardless if you think it's handled the right way or the wrong way, it is still a very valid reason for him to feel that way. It must be justified. I don't think it's reaching at all.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, it's a little annoying and disheartening that I see a lot of wrestling fans saying like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's whatever. But I'm like, that's easy for you to say when you're not a person of color.
Yeah.
It's very easy for you to say. And like I said, we're not going to turn this show into a political and social commentary show. But the fact of the matter is, there is a reason why he is upset. And I think that deserves to be looked at rather than criticized.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I don't know if we talked about Sin Cara too. I don't know if he's up. With him, I think it's just he's not getting any opportunities.
No, he's stagnant. He's stagnant.
Yeah,
and the thing is, I've noticed outside of Rey Mysterio, what other Latin star has, of course, gone to that upper echelon of competition? Eddie Guerrero, which, by the way, today is the 14-year anniversary of his passing. Since then, may he rest in peace. But Eddie Guerrero got on top.
Yeah.
And then he unfortunately had an untimely death.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have Rey Mysterio, who I think for the longest time never really felt that he was going to be a main event guy like that. And then, of course, I think in to kind of capitalize off of Eddie Guerrero's death, it kind of wrote itself. He said that he was going to win the Rumble for Eddie. He did. He won the world title at WrestleMania in that triple threat against Kurt Angle and Randy Orton, which is a phenomenal match. But I don't think I don't think the WWE has done a great job at really not just giving people of other ethnicities a chance to shine, but to let them shine outside of what they think they should be.
Yeah.
Instead of making them caricatures. Like, and like I said, ultimately it's up to these wrestlers to change that. It's up to these wrestlers to go with it. That's their decision. And hey, welcome back, Wrestling Geek. According to Wrestling Geek, Sin Cara can't be himself. He's stuck being the WWE version of Mystico. Yeah. That's pretty much, I think WWE looks at certain people and they think, okay, when we go to Mexico, we'll use our masked luchadors for headlining shows. We hit the southwest part of the United States. We hit California, we rely on our Latin stars. We go elsewhere, they're not really much of a priority. We go to Japan, that's when we'll rely on Shinsuke Nakamura. We'll rely on Kairi Sane and Asuka, to draw tickets because their names
sell merch.
To sell merch. But the thing is that, in my opinion, why hasn't Asuka been given a proper women's world title run?
Yeah.
I think it's been long overdue. In fact, it's tragic that it didn't happen sooner at this point. I mean, granted, they're doing great as the Kabuki Warriors, but I think it's safe to say that a lot of people think it's utter bullshit that Asuka hasn't been given that chance. Why did they not book Shinsuke Nakamura a lot stronger? Why did they make him kind of into a watered down version of what he was doing in NXT?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, he has the Intercontinental title now, but the fact of the matter is, I think there is a reoccurring. Oh, and in my personal opinion, Kofi Kingston finally winning the world title this year at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Just
for him to lose to Brock Lesnar months later in a matter of seconds. I think there has been a consistent, there has been a consistent trend in WWE where they take wrestlers of color and of certain ethnicities and they don't give them the same shine that somebody else would, like name, let's say, a Randy Orton or a Triple H or someone that appears to be Caucasian on television.
Yeah.
Because they're of a different ethnicity. That's what I think. I know a lot of people will completely disagree with me on that. But I think there is a racial disparity in that company, and there always has been.
Yeah, hopefully that changes because, I don't know, people are going to start getting upset now that ACH quit. And then they're going to start looking in social media and be like, hey, something serious is going on there. We need to look into this.
And the problem is that I think a lot of people are so content, with watching WWE. And this now we're in this part of the conversation. We're not even going to. It's not even about race and politics and controversy. I just think, WWE is part of the American lexicon. Like when you think of baseball, what do you think? Major League Baseball, the Yankees, the Braves. When you think of football, do you think of the CFL? No. You think of the NFL.
Think XFL.
Yeah, nobody's gonna. Yeah, but the NFL is synonymous with football.
Yeah,
it's like it's part of America. It's part of the American fabric. It's part of Americana. Yeah. When a foreign person comes to this country, what are a couple of things they think of that's very American? They think of the New York Yankees. They think of the Dallas Cowboys. They think
McDonald's.
Like they think of all these things that are part of the American fabric, whether it's pop culture or whatever it is. And WWE is synonymous with that.
Yeah.
When it comes to wrestling in North America, what do people think? What's wrestling? WWE. That's starting to change now, but I think a lot of people have been programmed for years and years and years, pretty much an entire generation, for 20 years. WWE was it.
Yeah.
Like that's all there was. So that's all they're used to. So they think, oh, well, I want to watch wrestling. I'm not going to go find it on YouTube, or I'm not going to go find it over here. I'm just going to continue watching, irregardless of what problematic things are going on. And I think that's starting to slightly change. Because the thing is, if it hasn't been changing, why would there be so many other companies that are flourishing right now?
Yeah.
And doing well. And who knows? Who knows how long this trend is going to continue? You see, there you go, WrestleGeek. You said, I'm Canadian, and I don't even think of the CFL. Exactly. You think of the NFL. Like I said, WWE it just serves my point. When you think of football, you think of the NFL. When you think of wrestling, the first thing that most people think is WWE. That's starting to change now, and I think a lot of people still have that mindset of like, oh, well, I'm just going to watch wrestling, so I'll just watch WWE. No matter how fucking bad it is.
Yeah.
No matter how fucking terrible it is, you complain every week that, oh, man, they need to do this with this guy, and they don't do that, or it's just a boring show, and yet you complain and you don't do anything to change that. But I think there's a big enough audience now that's starting to realize that we don't have to fucking watch this anymore.
Yeah.
Which is why AEW is slowly growing, which is why the NWA is being able to put something together, which is why New Japan has been able to finally break into the Western market. 2 mixed results, but they've been able to do it no less.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And I think when it comes to something like ACH and all these wrestlers that are asking for their releases, I don't think it's a matter of people I think people are kind of missing a bigger point here. It isn't a matter of, oh, they're complaining. They're making a lot of money, but they're complaining. They're bitches, whatever else. And the thing is that I think it's a matter of people need to realize that people in WWE right now, wrestlers that are workers, are realizing that they have other options. Mm-hmm. The WWE is no longer the end all be all like it has been for the past 20 years. And it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
And according to WrestleGeek, my little cousin doesn't watch other things because he thinks WWE must be the best. Exactly. People have been trained for years to think that WWE is the end all be all of wrestling, and it isn't, and it doesn't have to be. Which is why I've tried to implore other people to go explore what Japan has to offer, what Mexico has to offer. I think it's kind of like, it's the same way about dieting and eating. Like you eat crap all the time. That's all you're going to get used to. And then if you put a little effort and change it, you'll start to notice a change, a difference. When I decided about 2 years ago to stop focusing so much on WWE and just focus on other promotions, it made me love wrestling even more.
Yeah.
Because there's so many other things out there that are great and wonderful about pro wrestling. WWE does not, as much as they'd like to believe they are, they do not own the concept of wrestling.
Yeah.
They like to act like they do, but they don't. And I implore people to constantly rethink and reassess how they view professional wrestling. Because, at the end of the day, WWE might be the biggest and the richest company in the world in terms of pro wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But the fact is that they do not own the concept of pro wrestling.
Boo, WWE.
I'm not. And the thing is, this is ultimately I'm not ultimately being anti WWE here, because there was a period of time where WWE was awesome.
Yeah.
And there was a period of time where I thought WWE was on the right track with certain things. Now, not so much. And I think WWE needs to reassess how they present wrestling to people. And I think they also need to rethink how they treat their workers as well.
Yeah. And I'm glad to see when at these AEW pay-per-views and we see kids go up in the ring with them, and in New Japan we see kid fans. I'm happy to see that, because I'm happy to see kids are enjoying other stuff than WWE.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like there's other options out there. And speaking of other options with New Japan, let's get on to some New Japan news. Enough about our tirade. Enough about the serious talk. Let's have a little bit of fun. On to the wrestling news. New Japan Showdown in San Jose. Let's talk about it. So, man, the San Jose show the New Japan show in San Jose, the New Japan Showdown. Honestly, this was a much better produced show than a lot of their most recent American shows.
Yeah,
much better produced. This is the kind of thing I was talking about. It's like the production value.
They even had some title matches, so that was cool.
They had some title matches. The ring looked great. The audience looked great. The presentation, the camera work was a lot better. I still think they need to work on their lighting. And I really enjoyed this American show. And this is the kind of thing that I want more of New Japan. And I noticed that New Japan is starting to bring in a lot more of younger foreign talent, a lot of American talent. Because like I said, I think they're going to start slowly trying to get American talent to expand into their American base for New Japan Pro Wrestling of America. Mm-hmm. How that works, I don't know, but it's nice to see that they're trying to showcase other talent. Like I said, if New Japan focuses more on the production value of their shows, I think that'll attract fans.
Yeah, definitely, because they do have the talent and a deep roster to do awesome shows everywhere, maybe in Japan and at the US at the same time. So hopefully they do good stuff here in New Japan USA.
I hope so. And like I said, I definitely want to see how how that develops. Like I said, we're currently in a wrestling boom, and perhaps the wrestling bubble has popped, but I'm all about it. But I will say that this show, on the other hand, was a great show.
Yeah.
It was a really, really well done show.
Yeah, and we are live, you guys, on Podbean. We go live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central Time. You can interact with us like Wrestle Geek is currently doing on Podbean. But, yeah, I mean, join us, interact with us right now, call to the show. And if you are not listening to this live, you can catch us all the podcast apps that are out there. You can catch our show. But going back to this New Japan show, it started off with Narita and Alex Coughlin, which is some guys we haven't seen in a while because they're out in an excursion here in the U.S.
Exactly. And the thing is, one thing I loved about this match, and I want to point out with Ren Narita and Alex Coughlin, like Ren Narita seems to start, I feel like he's showing a lot more of an aggressive side to him now.
Yeah.
He's definitely showing a lot more of an aggressive side to him. Alex Coughlin, I noticed, has been definitely practicing on his MMA. Mm-hmm. I noticed with his grappling, with his transitions, with his positions, and how he positions himself in order to set up for submissions.
Yeah.
Even though he lost, I noticed, man, he has been doing a phenomenal job in his mat work. Mm-hmm. And that cannot be ignored. Like, I think Alex Coughlin is a star, also another star in the making. Like, everybody in the LA dojo is definitely somebody that you can't ignore any of these guys.
Yeah, these guys are the top tier wrestlers right now, and
in the dojo system,
yeah.
absolutely. And then another thing too that here's where I'm disappointed too. In this next match, Jushin Thunder Liger teamed up with indie star Aaron Solo against Colt Cabana and Toru Yano. Colt Cabana, of course, hit the Superman pin, which is the most hysterical finisher in all of wrestling. It's just it makes me laugh every time he does it.
Yeah,
because it's so simple. And he pinned Aaron Solo. And this apparently is Jushin Thunder Liger's last match in North America.
It's crazy.
I personally am a little bummed out that it had to be a tag match like this. Mm-hmm. I'm sure everyone else in the match was stoked, like, wow, I'm part of history. This is Liger's last match in America. Yeah. If this was his last match in America, what I would have done to kind of make it kind of an apropos kind of thing was have because I know New Japan wants to does contract, certain indie and foreign talent.
Yeah.
Why not get Brian Pillman Jr. against Jushin Thunder Liger? Because when it comes to most audiences in America, their introduction to Jushin Thunder Liger was in WCW in the early 90s. For the WCW light heavyweight title. Mm-hmm. And Liger versus Brian Pillman was also the very first match on the very first Nitro ever.
Yeah.
So, and there's also, like I said, Liger and Pillman had a lot of amazing matches in the early 90s in WCW. What a way to close out his time in America than to go against Brian Pillman's son. I wish they would have put more thought into that.
Yeah, or anybody. I mean, something different other than this. I mean, you could even place the Cheeseburger in here. Yeah. I mean, I know Cheeseburger got his what's it called? His move with the hand.
He borrowed the show tape from Liger. Yeah.
So it would be kind of a cool moment, seeing that. I mean, anything other than this.
I don't know. I just felt like it was a fun match. If it was any other day, it'd be a fun match. Yeah. But the fact that this was Liger's last match in North America, yeah. I just personally felt that it deserved a little bit more than just to be a typical match. Like, yeah. I did not appreciate that. Yeah. I think Liger deserves a better send off in America than just some typical tag match where he loses, no less.
Yeah. So hopefully they put him into something else, and hopefully.
Well, I mean, this is it
for sure.
This is it. Yeah. Like this, as far as there is nothing else. There is nothing else. So I'm saying this is his last match in North America. They announced it in commentary. That's it. Like you will never see Liger wrestle in North America ever again. Now, all we have left is between now and Wrestle Kingdom, whatever matches he decides to wrestle during the World Tag League Tour, whatever. I know, like I said, he has one match set up where it's that multi-man 4-on-4 tag match for the Tokyo Dome. Yeah. And then apparently he has one more match set up for one of the days of Wrestle Kingdom that hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah.
Who knows? Because, I mean, as of right now, we'll get to this a little bit later, Wrestle Kingdom is starting to really take its shape.
Stop getting me so sad, man. You keep giving me bad news.
Why? Well, I'm telling you, dude, it's a heavy day, man. It's a weird day in wrestling, man. But Liger, you know, he did have a nice send off. That crowd did give him a nice send off. I will say that. Like, the crowd really gave their thanks and appreciation for Jushin Thunder Liger here in North America.
Yeah.
You know, and then of course saw, you know, long lines of Clark Connors and Carl Fredericks against Desperado and Minoru Suzuki. Of course, Suzuki hit the God style pile driver on Fredericks. One thing about Fredericks, man, is that the guy can take a beating and give one.
Yeah, Suzuki was wanting to teach him a lesson and show him who's boss.
Absolutely.
Definitely did that.
Exactly. And I personally believe that both Clark Connors and Carl Fredericks are also future stars. Yeah. And I'm excited, especially Carl Fredericks. Yeah. Mark my words, Carl Fredericks will main event the Tokyo Dome within the next 10 years.
What?
As a foreigner.
Yeah.
I completely believe that.
Yeah, I agree with you there. He has top talent. Yeah.
He has it.
Yeah.
He has it, and he has, like I said, he can perform very well in the ring.
Yeah.
Just so talented in that ring. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we had, a 3-on-3 tag match with LIJ's Bushi, Sonata, and Evil against Juice Robinson, Tomohiro Ishii, and TJP. Man, TJP and Juice Robinson work really well together.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
And Juice, you know what's funny, though? Juice is getting a little bit of weight, man.
He's getting a little pudgy.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. Maybe him and Finlay are switching roles.
Yeah, exactly. Finley's lost a lot of weight, yeah. And Juice Robinson seems to be getting. Maybe he's bulking.
Yeah,
he's cultivating mass.
That's true.
He might be cultivating mass. Who knows? But hopefully he'll be ready to go come Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, but definitely this match was a showcase. Showcase for Juice. So what he show everyone what he's about, and TJP as well. Definitely trying to show what's in store for New Japan USA. USA, I should say. And then the following match, we had Rocky, Yo, and Goto versus Jado, Ishimori, and Kenta. Man, Jado, I they should stop using this guy, because as soon as I see him coming down the ramp, like, I know he's gonna be the one who gets the
pinfall.
Yeah. So,
not to mention, is it me or he can barely walk? The guy waddles, man. Like, you can tell his knees are shot to shit. You know, and like I said, with Rocky Romero and Yo and Hiroki Goto, all extremely talented. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to wonder, one thing that during this match, I mean, it was a fun match, but the one thing that I keep wondering in this match was, as it gets closer to Wrestle Kingdom, like I said, we have a lot of the big main matches announced already.
Yeah. But
I wonder what's going to happen in terms of Kenta defending the never open weight. They teased it. Will he fight against Shibata? Mm-hmm. Will it be him and Hiroki Goto again?
I like Kenta versus Goto.
I would love Kenta versus Goto. I think that would work. I would love to see Shibata back.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Whether that happens, I don't know.
Or Kenta Goto, and then the next night, Shibata challenges
Kenta. Again. I don't know. We'll see. I just would rather not see Hiroki Goto be a sacrificial lamb anymore.
Yeah.
Like I said, I want to see Goto go places. But I kept thinking about that this whole match, honestly, is like, when is Kenta going to is Kenta and Shibata going to happen? It got teased.
It got teased at this point with everything that's been happening.
You know, like I said, up next is the tag league, and I wonder if they're going to develop any more storylines in the tag league.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see. And then, of course, his next match, El Phantasmo against Sho. Let me just say that this match, although Phantasmo did retain his British Cruiserweight Championship match, this match further reiterates that Sho is a future main eventer.
Yeah.
Fantastic match. Super entertaining. Phantasmo using a lot of underhanded tactics. Sho even got the pinfall, but, of course, the referee was, of course, knocked out of the ring. But, man, like, this match was so back and forth. Sho is such a heavy hitter.
Sho is as good, I think, as Ibushi, in my opinion.
I don't think he's there yet. I think he can be.
Yeah.
I think Sho has so much potential. I feel like this past year alone, he has improved so much.
Yeah.
And El Phantasmo is such a great heel. How can you not get pissed off watching him in the damn ring?
Yeah.
You know, getting pissed off in the ring. And the thing with El Phantasmo and Sho is that El Phantasmo just finds a perfect way to kind of foil anybody that beats Phantasmo. Phantasmo always finds a way to make sure that ref is indisposed and can't get the 3 count on him. So El Phantasmo will find some way to retain his title, whether it's some underhanded way.
Ishimori helping him like he did in this match.
Yeah, absolutely. With, of course, Yo coming in and trying to save the day.
Yeah.
But it was too little too late. Phantasmo hit the CR2 on Show. But like I said, this is an exciting match. I would even say that this match might be a match of the year contender for New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah. How do you feel El Phantasmo keeps using the Styles Clash and the V-Trigger? And
I think that's him. I think that's him trolling.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I don't think he's really paying tribute. I think he's just being a troll and stealing other people's moves.
Yeah. Just trying to get more heat on him.
Yeah, because people, every time he does it, he gets a reaction.
Yeah.
He gets a big reaction every time.
Yeah, like on this one, he did the V-Trigger and it was like, boo! It started booing him real quick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think he just does it to piss people off or to get a reaction out of it. And then, of course, the next match, Lance Archer against David Finlay. No surprise here. EBD claw in 13 minutes. Lance Archer kind of dominated David Finlay. David Finlay had a bit of a hot comeback. But this match was, in my opinion, underwhelming.
Yeah, Archer just destroyed him. It was just the Archer show.
Yeah, it was pretty much just the Archer show. Like, let's see how Archer can decimate, another wrestler on the roster.
Yeah, which sucks for Dave Finlay because he came back strong. He came back more trimmed, and now he's just back to the bottom of the list on New Japan roster.
Exactly. And that's a really unfortunate. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what the future holds.
Yeah.
But then, of course, up next, which is kind of like a preview of Wrestle Kingdom, which is what I like that they do this. Shingo Takagi teams up with Tetsuya Naito against Chase Owens and Jay White. Of course, Tetsuya Naito hit the Destino on Chase Owens at 15 minutes, 37 seconds. And this match is exactly what I thought it was. It was a teaser.
Yeah.
A big teaser for the double main event in the Wrestle Kingdom in about, what is it now? Like about a month and a half?
About a month and a half, yeah.
Month and a half.
Here.
And that's the one thing I do like about New Japan. New Japan is always really good at giving a bit of a teaser.
Yeah.
When it comes to main events that happen. And this match is exactly what I thought it was. I'm really happy that Naito was able to score the pinfall, get some momentum going into the, into the winter season.
Naito definitely has some fire in him. He wants to just kill Jay White now. He has so much hatred on him.
Absolutely. Did you watch that press conference for Wrestle Kingdom?
No.
Yeah, during the press conference for Wrestle Kingdom, Naito was not his typical calm, collected, relaxed self.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He was very pissed off.
Yeah.
Didn't really have a smile. Tried to play it cool, but you can tell he was bothered. And I think Jay White has Jay White is so good at getting under people's skin.
Yeah.
And I think he's finally gotten under Tetsuya Naito's skin. Now, in order for Jay White to retain and then move on to the double main event, he's going to have to utilize that against a guy like Tetsuya Naito. And Naito's going to need to find a way to go back to being tranquilo.
Yeah. If
he's going to want to score that 1, 2, 3 on Wrestle Kingdom. Because right now, in my opinion, I kind of see Jay White winning that match.
Yeah. Same here.
Whether it happens, we'll have to wait and see. But it's going to be an exciting match. But I think Jay White might have the psychological advantage going in to Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. Yeah, I think definitely. Yeah, and then the next match, you had Ospreay and Okada versus Amazing Red and Ibushi, which two other guys that have see what happens with that in Wrestle Kingdom. See who's going to face either Jay White or Naito.
Exactly. I personally feel that Kota Ibushi will go over Okada for Wrestle Kingdom because I think Okada is taking this too lightly. I think he's a little too cocky. I personally feel that Okada has kind of brushed off this whole thing about saying, "Oh, well, I don't. This other title doesn't matter to me. The only thing that matters to me is this." And I think he feels as if that he can't be beaten, which he has been beaten.
Yeah,
he has. Every champion will have. Will of course lose that title. But the thing is that I think Okada is just taking this as, it's just another title defense.
Yeah.
And it's not. You have 4 of the top guys in New Japan Pro Wrestling not only wanting the IWGP heavyweight title, but they want to unify that with the Intercontinental title, which has never been done.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. Of course, the one thing that also we can't ignore in this match too that was really cool was Will Ospreay against Amazing Red, kind of showcasing, and I know Amazing Red at this point is a little past his prime. Like I said, he kind of, after his time in TNA in the mid to late 2000s, he did of course kind of semi-retire after a lot of injuries were getting to him. But it was nice to see Amazing Red back during the Super J Cup and, of course, on this most recent American tour. And just anytime him and Will Ospreay get together, I feel like it brings out a little bit extra in Amazing Red.
Yeah, that guy hasn't lost a step. He's still good.
He's still good, but you could definitely tell that like the years have rained on his body, because Amazing Red does not take as many risks as he used to back when during his TNA time frame.
Yeah.
Nor should he. There's no need. But the fact is that if you are not familiar with Amazing Red, ladies and gentlemen, I would say 80% of what you see in the ring, from people doing the high flying, the innovative offenses, these very non-traditional type moves, you can thank Amazing Red.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to that, a lot of the things that you see now that have become commonplace, you can thank guys like AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, and definitely Amazing Red for what you see nowadays.
He's definitely amazing.
Unfortunately, he fell to the Rainmaker by Okada, but I was very impressed to see that Amazing Red kept up with everybody. And I am very excited to see this match between Kota Ibushi and Okada. I think personally night 2 is going to feature Jay White against Kota Ibushi. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think what they will need to do is build another set of stars. And Jay White, while he's over, I think this is going to help elevate him still, whether he wins or loses. And if Kota Ibushi, in my opinion, I think Kota Ibushi will walk out of Wrestle Kingdom as double champion. That'll definitely elevate Kota Ibushi onto another level. And I think they need to do that.
Yeah. But if you have a heel on top,
it makes for a great program.
Yeah.
Because now you're going to think, oh, well, then who the fuck is going to take the titles from Jay White?
Yeah.
Like, who's going to take it from him? And, Jay White could have, a solid run. And then maybe he'll even keep it for the whole year, and somebody else wins the G1 next year, challenges Jay White for Wrestle Kingdom next year, and takes that. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot. The beauty about Wrestle Kingdom is that it's not always quite predictable. This past year, we thought that Omega was going to retain, and he didn't.
Yeah.
He lost to Tanahashi.
Yeah.
And then we thought that Tanahashi was going to have a lengthy title reign. Nope. He lost it to Jay White immediately. And then Jay White lost it immediately to Okada.
Yeah.
So who's to say that the same thing might not happen? Who knows?
Yeah. I don't want to be the booker for New Japan right now. It's a hard decision. Who do you put on top?
I feel like in a lot of ways you could book yourself into a corner. You can make the bad decision. I think personally the smartest thing to do right now is Okada.
Yeah, WrestleGeek is saying check out House of Glory for
Amazing Red's most recent stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Him, like I said, he is the owner and trainer. He is the head trainer and the owner of House of Glory out in Queens, New York. I've been to a House of Glory show. Fun time. Super, super fun time. And the thing is that he's also responsible for training Private Party. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I did not know that. Yeah,
absolutely. Like he was definitely responsible for that as well. And speaking of House of Glory, one thing I want to just kind of bring to attention right now is, for those of you that don't know, and most of you might not know, I just want to say we just want to extend our condolences to the family of Matt Travis, who was an up and coming wrestler out of New York City, who was also friends with Proud and Powerful, aka formerly known as LAX. Also, he was a student of the Amazing Red in House of Glory, probably one of their most promising up and coming talents. Like, I feel like Matt Travis was definitely one of those guys that you could definitely tell within the very near future he was going to be on NXT, maybe AEW, maybe even have a stint in Europe or in Japan. Like, Matt Travis had so much potential. He was a student of Amazing Red. Unfortunately, he passed away just a couple days ago. So I just wanted to send my personal condolences.
Was he like 25 or something?
Very young man.
Yeah.
Very young man. But like I said, I just wanted to say that, and since we're talking about House of Glory and talking about Amazing Red, and just wanted to give our condolences.
Yeah. But speaking about indie news, let's go to talk about everything else in the wrestling world, sir.
Absolutely. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Now, man, I'm telling you, what was that?
It was the news. I would just bring you back to the special report.
Yeah.
This is a special report from Tiger Driver Radio.
Tiger Driver Radio. Yeah, man. And like I said, for anybody that's out there listening right there, if you feel free to call at any time, man. If you guys want to call, have any bit of input, any opinions, by all means, let's have a conversation. We welcome it. We're more than happy to have you guys call in on the show. And speaking of, like I said, we touched on this a little bit early on in the show. And in the show, at the beginning of the show, we talked about the controversy of ACH. Mm-hmm. And I think I've talked about it enough in the beginning of the show. But the bigger issue that I want to point out before we move on from that topic is I think it's important to, whether or not you agree with how he's doing it, agree with his perspective, or don't agree with his perspective, I think the thing you have to realize that the amount of wrestlers that have been very vocal about their disappointment in the company can't be ignored.
Yeah.
And not everyone's going to be happy. Like I said, some people have jobs and they're okay with working with what they're doing. Oh, I think we have our first caller. Let's see.
Wrestle
Hey,
Geek,
how's it
you're
going,
on.
guys? How's it going, guys? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, what's going on, Wrestle Geek? How's everything?
Pretty good. Name's Trevor. I live in Maritimes of Canada.
Oh wow, awesome. It's got to be super cold up there now.
We are in full-on winter right now. There was a snowstorm 2 days ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. So tell us, man, what do you got on your mind for this past week's wacky world of wrestling going on these days?
Well, the first thing I want to bring up is something that was announced right when you guys went live, actually, over in my local independent scene. This one company, Ultimate Championship Wrestling, UCW, has been trying to get Canadian wrestling televised nationally for the past year. They've been doing really good. And this January, they just announced that they will be having Nick Aldis defend the NWA World's title against our local, probably one of the best local guys we have, Marcus Burke. He's the guy spearheading all of this stuff happening over here.
Wow.
So to see him get this opportunity is really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. And it's fun. It's awesome that you bring up Nick Aldis, because something we were going to bring up on this segment of the show is that how NWA has, within the past year, in my opinion, since All In last year, that they've definitely been riding a wave of momentum. And I think Nick Aldis has been, in my opinion, such a perfect champion to represent the NWA going forward from here on out.
Oh, he's been so consistent. Like every promo, every match, everything you can expect a certain caliber, and he always delivers that or better every time.
Oh, abso-freaking-lutely. And I think if anybody's going to represent your company in terms of growth, you have a perfect champion in Nick Aldis. It just kind of makes it even, there's even more. I feel like he kind of adds that mystique back to what the NWA title used to represent in the 70s and 80s. And Nick Aldis has been perfect at representing that title. Now it's just a matter of who's good enough to take it from him.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
would you even want to take it from him? Because he's a top guy right now. I don't think you want to even touch that. Like, just leave him with the title.
Yeah.
And or maybe, who knows? Maybe when he's out in Canada, his opponent could beat him. What do you think, Travis?
As much as I love the Burke, the Violent Canadian, I don't know, man. Like that's a tough call. He's riding a really big high right now. He's won his main rival promotion's world title. He's sporting that around. So he's got the ego, and he's absolutely got the confidence right now to try it.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I completely agree. And like I said, I don't know. It's just like the one thing I like about the NWA that they're doing is that they're not trying to do anything that they're not. They're not trying to be another company. They're not trying to be WWE. They're sticking to what makes them uniquely NWA. And I like the fact that that the NWA title is one of those titles that can go from different companies and be defended, whether it's in Ring of Honor, another independent promotion. And who knows, maybe we might even see, the NWA title defended on AEW television, seeing as how Rock and Roll Express has made appearances for their weekly programming.
Yeah, definitely. And then Trevor, what else? I think I called you Travis earlier. I apologize for that. I should have said Trevor.
Oh, that's fine.
But hey, Trevor, what other wrestling promotions do you have out there that you're into?
My main, I just started checking out MLW mostly because of the Talk is Jericho episode with Court Bauer.
Yeah.
That thing was so amazing. But mostly I've been following AEW, Impact, and NWA. I don't really watch WWE anymore, kind of like you guys. It's just something I have on the background every once in a while.
Yeah.
Let me ask, what is your reason why you don't watch WWE as much as you watch other products?
Oh man, mostly it's okay, I got into wrestling late. So I only got in, compared to everybody else I know who is a wrestling fan. I got into it during the Attitude Era. One of my first shows that I remember, not Attitude, Ruthless Aggression.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first shows I remember watching was John Cena's debut. That was maybe 6 months into how long I've been watching wrestling at that point.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have never seen WCW. I never saw ECW. I wasn't around for that kind of stuff. So I've literally I watched a bit of TNA when Kurt Angle went over and stuff like that, but I was never really TNA and Impact are definitely two different, completely different entities at this point.
Yeah.
But TNA back in the day was just not enough, and I didn't know about Ring of Honor and Japan or any of this stuff until I got back into wrestling, which would have been about 5-6 years ago now.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You like the Japan product right now, or not as much as everything else you just mentioned?
I try, but there's a lot. I don't have New Japan World.
Yeah.
I got to prioritize, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's definitely.
I try to follow it as much as possible.
Yeah.
Honestly, finding your podcast has been an absolute godsend.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Like I said, I implore you to definitely get New Japan World. It is worth it, especially because with the time difference.
Yeah.
It is hard to watch it live, so I usually typically watch it the day after if I'm not able to stay up late.
Tonight, Dynamite starts at 9 p.m. for me.
Yeah.
So a lot of pay-per-views, I usually just watch things in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm already used to that idea of just getting up in the morning and just watching a recording.
No, absolutely, man. And like I said, I implore you to definitely check out more of a New Japan World. And even I know Pro Wrestling Noah is starting to put their product out on YouTube as well. Mm-hmm. And
I know a decent amount of their guys because of their deals with Impact that they've had over the years, right? So that's,
yeah, absolutely.
I'd be excited to watch Noah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I said, when it comes to Noah, I mean that's where Kenta came from originally. That's where Taiji Ishimori originally. The thing is, if you watch Taiji Ishimori's early stuff compared to where he is now, I mean he's still super athletic now.
Yeah.
But back then he did a lot more flippy stuff because he was a lot more light. Now he's a lot heavier and does a lot more power moves these days. But if I implore you to definitely watch classic Noah from back in the day when Misawa was still alive and when he had his matches against old school Kenta. I mean, those matches are
absolutely.
Those matches are just insane to watch, and it kind of bums me out because I feel like Kenta doesn't necessarily. You see glimpses of it, but he doesn't wrestle that same way anymore.
I actually the Ishimori difference you were talking about. I actually saw that from day to day almost because at the time, right before he joined New Japan and became part of Bullet Club, he was wrestling in Impact as a liaison from Pro Wrestling Noah.
Yeah.
So I saw him as Ishimori Pro Wrestling Noah style for the most part. I don't think they really slowed him down too much because when I got to New Japan and watched him, I was like, this is 3 weeks apart. This is a very different style of wrestling. I saw it almost instantly.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, like I said, it is definitely a different style, but like I said, if you watch a lot of his early stuff, I remember Ishimori used to have this move where he would go off of the ropes, kind of like a backspring elbow, and then instead of hitting a backspring elbow, he would do a double backflip into a senton. It was kind of like a reverse shooting star. It was insane finishing move, but he doesn't do that anymore. I noticed he doesn't.
Crazy.
Yeah, it sounds insane.
Was he in the X division? I can't remember. Was he in that X division?
He was.
Deal?
Yeah, I think he held the title even, or he won a tournament. One of the two.
Yeah, he did. He did have the title for a little while. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I love that match where they had the kind of the ropes on the top of the ring and the X, and they had to kind of climb up.
Ultimate X.
Yeah, there you go. That was a cool match. I don't know what happened to
They
that.
still do it every once in a while, but we haven't seen one in a little bit.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely, man. But before we let you go, man, is there anything else you want to add in to the conversation? Any last bits of comments? Anything else?
No, man, that was fun calling in and giving my news.
Absolutely, man. Like I said,
on the local scene.
Feel free to chime in every week, man, and we appreciate all the support.
Yeah, call us. Keep calling us.
No problem, guys. Thank you very much.
Awesome, man. Pleasure to have you, man.
See ya.
Later, Wrestle Geek.
Awesome. That's awesome, man. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to call, do not be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy. Thank you again, Wrestle Geek, so much for the support. Like I said, at some point we got to give him a shirt, dude.
Yeah, we definitely will.
We definitely have to give him a shirt. Just please be sure to contact us via social media and we can get you that later. And give us your address and we'll send you some awesome swag.
Yeah, he did hit me up on social media, so definitely we just need his address. So once we get our shirts, hopefully early next year, we'll send him a shirt for sure.
Absolutely, man. And then, like I said, just to kind of continue on off of the whole momentum that we had earlier, is that in regards to the WWE, I think you can't ignore the amount of wrestlers that are wanting their releases, that have been saying these things. And like I said, it's not to say that people aren't happy. It's not to say that people in any job, it could be any job, you work for a certain company, GCJ.
Yeah.
I work for a certain company. Some people might not like that job, but they go in anyway and they do it. And some people might be very happy at that company and they're okay with the way it is. Everyone has different opinions and it's okay. However, something needs to be really looked at for the amount of people in a short time that have been really vocal about their dislike of being there.
Yeah.
And some of those people aren't low roster names. They're pretty big names.
Yeah. And with everyone's egos that they have, and I mean it's not surprising that people get upset quick. Of maybe it could just be one little thing and makes them mad, or it just could be just a bunch of little things, and they're all of a sudden, like ACH, just coming up and saying, hey, you know what,
F this.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Absolutely. So it just leads me to believe, like, what do they need to do to change the work climate there?
Yeah.
Because something must be going on. And I'm sure a lot of people don't want to necessarily rattle the cage because, I mean, for a lot of the wrestlers, the end all be all is WWE. You work, you sacrifice, you put in a lot of work to finally get here, and you're here, and you don't want to necessarily get rid of that, or you don't want to lose the money that you're making. But I think a lot of people are realizing that there's still other viable options, and WWE might not be the ultimate thing anymore. And I think people need to start waking up and realizing that that is not the end all be all of pro wrestling, that other pro wrestling is also good pro wrestling.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. If you were a wrestler, hypothetically, would you just, because see, I'm thinking about it. If I were a wrestler and I ever got told or offered to go to WWE, I wouldn't mind going to WWE for the reason that it takes you to a whole different level. And even if you're there just for a bit or just come out on TV once, you're already, you're what you would go if you go back to the indies, you would get paid a lot higher just because you were in the WWE. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean that's safe to say. Like I said, at the end of the day, I can only say so much because I'm just a fan and I can assume. And, I make these assumptions. I honestly don't know what's going on backstage. I'm not a wrestler myself that has to make these decisions based on finances.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's a job. While you are entertaining people and it is at the expense of your body, these people have lives. Some have families. Some people are married. And they make these decisions based on what's financially and mentally and creatively viable for them. And what may work for one person may not work for the next. And that's completely valid. Now, for me, if it were up to me, with my limited knowledge and me being a stupid little fucking mark, if I was going to work anywhere, I would definitely be like, yeah, I would love to go to AEW and then work the indies.
Yeah.
Or Impact. I would still want financial stability with an ability to still be myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would like.
Yeah.
I think that's important to a lot of people. Is the ability to still create and love what you do, but to also have financial stability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with AEW, definitely all those wrestlers are gonna, with all the TV exposure they're getting now.
Exactly. And I said, like the ratings thing, people talk about the ratings are, they're going down, the ratings. I think, like I said, it takes time to build their brand. I think they're doing okay.
Yeah.
I think AEW's doing great.
Yeah.
For what it is.
Yeah, they have enough. They have good momentum right now, and
some audiences are. It's not sellout. Some audiences are low.
Yeah.
Other cities, it's a sellout.
Yeah.
It just depends. I think it's just going to take some time.
I mean, me personally, I like AEW Dark a little bit more than I do the Dynamite.
Yeah, it's a nice little brief show.
Yeah, that's just me because it's just a little bit of different feel.
Absolutely.
Dynamite.
Yeah. But anyway, man, before we get on, man, let's just talk about a couple of little tidbits of news out there in the wrestling world. Speaking of NWA, they're on a hot streak right now. I'm such a big fan of their presentation of NWA Power. Mm-hmm. Very reminiscent of the old school stuff. If you haven't watched old school NWA, I implore you to go watch it. You'll see a lot of the similarities to what they're doing now, but with like a modern touch. Melina, formerly of WWE, will be making her NWA Power debut next week. Mm-hmm. Which is awesome. She's apparently still wrestling on the indies and doing very well. She can still go. Yeah. In my opinion, before the transition into the women's revolution in WWE, Melina was one of my favorite women's wrestlers in WWE. I honestly feel like Melina kind of came in too early.
Yeah.
Because she was a fantastic wrestler.
Yeah.
They also sold out their Atlanta pay-per-view that they're going to be having in December. That's a sold-out show.
Hot Atlanta?
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, NWA is doing good things, and like I said, I think it's smart that they're sticking to what they're good at and not trying to be anything else.
Yeah, I love it. I watch it every week.
And then, of course, for those who are fans of MLW, they're bringing back a little bit of history. They're bringing back the Opera Cup. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Opera Cup is, the Opera Cup was a cup over 71 years ago that used to be defended every year. And basically, they'd have a tournament where they would take regional wrestlers from around the United States and Canada. Yeah. And in some cases, the world. And they would have basically of the best. Who are the best wrestlers? And whoever wins is considered the best wrestler for that year. And a lot of times that winning that tournament would open up for a title shot of the hottest title that was going on. Mm-hmm. And that a lot of times in those cases, it was the NWA title. Well, that same statue has been in the basement of the Hart family, or excuse me, the attic of the Hart family for years. They're bringing it back. And now MLW is going to host the Opera House Cup.
That's a little weird. I thought it was like an opera show and wrestlers around opera performers.
Well, it's funny. You're not that far off the mark because basically this opera cup. Apparently, the whole theme was when they had this tournament, they would have it in opera halls.
Oh, okay.
To kind of provide it to kind of give it this more regal and kind of like they would give it like a sense of air and importance and making it more of a regal situation that if you win this tournament, it's a refined tournament. It's about who is the best, who was the most refined wrestler, and that's why they called it the Opera Cup. A lot of times it was at opera houses when they had these matches. Okay. So, I mean, you're not far off the mark. I mean, there is some history behind that as to why they called it that. But this will be, of course, reenacted and reactivated in MLW. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. TJP will also be a part of that tournament as well as other superstars, including Brian Pillman Jr. as well. So look out for that very shortly. And, of course, Chikara, which a legendary promotion, which has featured tons of people, including, Chucky T, Sami Zayn, Kota Ibushi. Yeah. A very young Kazuchika Okada. Well, this promotion seems to be a big breeding ground for who's up and coming. Chikara has always been famous for fast-paced wrestling as well as comedy wrestling. Check out their season finale on independentwrestling.tv. Mm-hmm. Check it out. Good shit. Cool. It's real good shit. And then, of course, Rush and Dragon Lee have returned to Triple A, where typically they've been part of CMLL. Yeah. Now they're in Triple A, which means this might open up the possibility of working in AEW.
Yeah. Hopefully that happens because a lot of dream matches there. And
I think Dragon Lee, in my opinion, is going to be one of those luchadors that's able to. I think he's capable of being a main event star in North America.
Yeah. Dragon Lee versus Fuego.
Or Dragon Lee
versus anybody.
Dragon Lee against Kenny Omega.
Dragon Lee versus
Moxley.
Yeah, anybody, man.
Jericho.
It'd be good matches. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then, of course, last but not least, last week, Kenny Omega did have some difficulty entering into Japan while working for a DDT show. Mm-hmm. And he didn't outright say it, but he dropped hints saying that maybe New Japan had some hand in giving Kenny Omega difficulty entering the country.
Yeah.
Harold Meiji of New Japan Pro Wrestling, their current CEO, has said that has denied those allegations, saying there's no possible way that a company like us could do that to you, let alone be involved in that.
Yeah.
I don't know who to believe. I think there's still a lot of bitterness from New Japan Pro Wrestling with Kenny Omega because of the fact that Kenny Omega decided to leave.
Yeah.
Because like I said, New Japan Pro Wrestling put a lot of investment into Kenny Omega to kind of, be the face of Western expansion, mm-hmm. just for him to leave and go and start AEW with the Bucks and Cody.
Yeah, which was weird. I thought it was a weird move.
I thought it was a weird move.
To do that.
Smart move, though.
Yeah.
I think it's working out fine for him.
Mm-hmm.
But it is unfortunate that we're probably not going to see Kenny Omega in a New Japan ring anytime soon.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But like I said, no one can take away the fact that at the end of the day, he still was an IWGP Heavyweight Champion. He has headlined the Tokyo Dome as a gaijin, which isn't very common.
Yeah.
So kudos to him. But yeah, those are a little bit of little tidbits we have, news. On that note, man, we're going to get out of here. But before we get out of here, man, Tell everyone, where can they find us, man? Where can they find us if they want to harass us?
On Facebook, you can find us on Tiger Driver Radio, as well on Instagram on Tiger Driver Radio. On Twitter, you can find us under Tiger Driver Rad1, or you can email us at tigerdriverradio@gmail.com. And again, you could listen to our show at any podcast app out there. What do we have? Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio coming up soon. We'll let you know when that happens. If you guys want us to put the show in any other app, just let us know. Just hit us up, Tiger Driver Army. Hit us up.
Absolutely. And like I said, don't be shy out there, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening to us live, don't be afraid to call in. Don't be afraid to interact. We want to hear from you guys. We want feedback. We want opinions. We want people to talk to. And like I said, if you can't catch us live on air on Podbean every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central Time, you can always catch us at the aforementioned outlets, whether that's Apple Music, YouTube, Spotify, whatever you got, whatever's out there, we're on there. And if we're not on a certain outlet for podcast that we're not aware of, please let us know. But on that note, man, enjoy pro wrestling. I'm about to go eat. I'm hungry.
You're hungry?
Yeah, I'm hungry. But yeah, man, have a good time, man. Until then, peace.
Adios.